This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Good morning once again. I'm Renee Samarawa with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. We're getting ready to take you live to Shadow Ridge High School, where Clark County District Superintendent Jara is holding a news conference on the first day back of school here in the Las Vegas Valley. It's been a busy day across the valley as more than 300,000 students head back to the classroom. This is the first time since March of 2020 that students in all grade levels are being offered full-time instruction in the classrooms. This comes as COVID-19 cases are on the rise here in Clark County, especially cases of the more contagious Delta variant of the virus. As a result, all students and employees are being required to wear masks or face coverings indoors and on school buses, even if they are fully vaccinated. The only exceptions are students who have a medical condition or developmental issue that doesn't allow them to wear a mask. In addition, 12 schools are offering full-time distance learning along with online Nevada Virtual Academy. Here's more. Okay, so it sounds like we're still waiting for the superintendent to get ready for the press conference. We continue. Last week, the district sent a message to parents saying that it is, quote, committing to opening schools for all students as safely as possible. Now, Jara has already had a busy day and all kicked off just about 5 a.m. today when he greeted hundreds of drivers at the district bus yard. He also cut the ribbon at two brand new schools, Brown Elementary School in Henderson and another middle school in the southwest Las Vegas Valley. Now, all of this comes as the nation's fifth largest school district tries to fill hundreds of open positions. As of July 21st, more than 600 teaching positions were unfilled, including more than 200 at elementary schools. Now, it looks like the news conference is about to start. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
We'll make this real quick and easy, okay?
Okay.
No worries.
This mic onto your collar.
Okay.
You want me to take the lead in the middle?
Yeah, you got it. Okay, go back there. Appreciate that. Can you just hold that?
Okay. While you're doing this, you'll just look right over here at me, all right?
Okay.
First and two easy questions. What's your name?
I am Haley Morrow.
Spell out your whole name for me, Haley.
H-A-I.
All right, looks like we're conducting some interviews before Superintendent Jara gets started. Now, again, more than 300,000 students are back in the classroom. This is the first day since March of 2020 that students in all grade levels are being offered full-time instruction in the classrooms. This comes as COVID-19 cases are on the rise here in Clark County, especially cases of the more contagious Delta variant of that virus. Now, as a result, all students and employees are being required to wear masks and face coverings indoors and on school buses, even if they are fully vaccinated. The only exception are students who have a medical condition or a developmental issue that doesn't allow them to wear masks. In addition, 12 schools are offering full-time distance learning along with online Nevada Virtual Academy. Now, last week, the district sent a message to parents saying that it is, quote, committed to opening schools for all students as safely as possible. Now, Jara has already had a very busy day. We went live earlier today for Gunderson Elementary School, along with another elementary school in Henderson, both of them cutting the ribbons today. Two brand new schools, I should say Gunderson Middle School in the southwest Las Vegas Valley. So two new schools opening up, over 300,000 students going back to school. It has already been quite a day in this morning, and we plan to get a lot of reactions from parents later on this week about how it's all going. Now, as of July 21st, more than 600 teaching positions have also been open. You may have seen some of our stories looking for transportation along with some on-campus staffing. So there are still looking to fill those positions as well, including more than 200 at elementary schools. So again, this press conference by the Superintendent Jara, along with some other people we've seen, Congresswoman Susie Lee, and some other individuals today who are just expressing gratitude, expressing that the change is here and that they're going to be doing everything they can to keep students and teachers safe. Also, they've been focusing on a better curriculum. As we know it so far, many students have let their grades slip, according to statistics, at least one of them getting D's and about 39% getting F's. And so the main focus this year is going to be getting people back engaged into the education, getting more engaged back into the classroom with their teachers and their fellow students. And also, of course, keeping those who are in distance learning programs engaged as well. As we all know, the social distancing aspect has been detrimental to some of the students here in the Valley. And we have, many stories on that on our website, lvrj.com, just about how hard it's been for students and parents alike to have to social distance during the pandemic and the effect it's had on them mentally as well as financially and, of course, your child's education. So again, a busy morning, and we have the Superintendent, Jara, coming back on again, another live here at another school to give his remarks for the first day. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Check, check, check.
I like that how you're like Channel 8.
That was me 4 years ago, not anymore. I'll send you that photo for you guys.
Please do. That way, like when you guys post it, like on Twitter, nobody like freaks out. I'll like.
Thanks.
So once again, you're seeing school officials setting up for a school update. We know that 300,000 students are heading back to the classroom today, some for the very first time since 2020, and again since 2020 March, that students in all grade levels have been offered a full-time instruction inside of the classroom. So this is a first for a lot of teachers and students being back. And of course, the main concern is COVID-19 cases on the rise here in Clark County, especially the cases of the contagion Delta variant of the virus. So as a result, a lot of students and teachers and other staff are being required to wear masks. Of course, as we've seen in the past and we've covered here at the Review Journal, many of the safety precautions that have been in place, including social distancing and hand sanitizers in different areas of the schools. And again, this is a big change because they are also allowing for distance learning. So now we have both distance learning and in-classroom learning. So this year is going to be very interesting, but students and staff seem to be very excited, and a lot of students seem to be excited because now the social aspect of school is back, and they're happy to see their friends again, as we've heard from a lot of our parent reactions to having full-time in-class education. The only exceptions are students for not wearing masks if any of them have medical conditions or developmental issue that does not allow them to wear masks for whatever reason that may be. Those are the exemptions. In addition, again, as I told you before, 12 schools are offering full-time distance learning. So for those parents who are still concerned about COVID-19 or just concerned about what and how the school district is going to be moving this year along, they have that full-time distance learning available to them. Now, along with online Nevada Virtual Academy, they're one of the other ones who are doing virtual learning. Last week, the district sent a message to parents saying that it is committed to opening schools for all students as safely as possible. And Jara has already had, again, a busy day. This is the second live we've given to you here if you're watching us on our RJ app or on YouTube. He has had a very busy morning. It kicked off at 5 a.m. when he greeted hundreds of drivers at the district's bus yard. Another place that the school system is hiring is transportation. He also cut the ribbon of 2 new schools, Brown Elementary School in Henderson and Gunderson Middle School in the southwest area of the Las Vegas Valley. And so everyone has been very excited to start off 2 new schools as well. All of this comes as the nation's 5th largest district tries to fill hundreds of open positions, as I mentioned before, transportation being one of them, teachers being another one, in the food section of the school is another one, and so they are desperately looking for to fill all of those open positions. So any of you that are interested, please go to lvrj.com and you will find more on what they are asking of the community. 600 teaching positions are unfilled, by the way. So again, they are looking for a lot of people to fill those positions, including more than 200 at elementary schools in general. So, you know, despite those hiccups there, it seems like students and staff, of what we've seen all morning, have been extremely excited to come back to school. Students are happy to see their friends again and no longer distanced away from them, as you know, that was a big talking point during the COVID pandemic last year. But there's still a lot of parents who are not quite sure if they want to send their students back to school. They actually like the distance learning aspect of everything. And okay, it looks like we have lost a signal there, so we're going to try to come back. What was that? We're going to try to come back? Okay, so as we continue to come back, it looks like we're going to try to get this picture back up for you. So again, Superintendent Jesus Jara is scheduled to speak again on how the back to school efforts have been going. Let's go ahead and take a listen as they prepare.
Mic check testing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. All right, folks, good afternoon. Thank you so much for today's media availability. We'll start with State Superintendent, Ms. Joan Ebert.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks, everyone, for being here this morning. I am really excited to help open the Clark County School District. We not only have the Clark County School District going in session today, but we also have our second largest school district, Washoe County, and many other school districts going in. I am extremely proud of the community members, our students, everyone wearing their masks, keeping a safe distance, celebrating school. We heard from our students this morning how happy and excited they were to be back in a classroom, to a learning environment with their teachers, with their trustees here this morning, with their principals. It is just a great time to be in education. Across the United States, not all schools are going back face to face. So I'm very proud of the hard work of this community specifically, as well as your superintendent, Superintendent Jara, for making sure that students can be engaged in learning, that they can accelerate their learning and continue their learning. Thank you very much, Superintendent Jara.
Thank you, Ms. Ebert, for being here, being with us all morning. We started early on opening schools and celebrating success. Let me just give you some facts on data So updating the community, but I just can't thank our 42,000 employees, our entire staff, and our community really opening up the 5th largest district in the country. There's some excitement in every campus I've been at from the first day of school. As Congresswoman Lee says, this is the best day ever, first day of school. It's not just Christmas, it's opening up our campuses for our children with our staff where they belong. From kindergarten, preschool, to now you see our high school students, they're wearing their masks, they're really taking care of their health, and really, really, really excited of where we are today. So some of the challenges that we've had in a first day of school, not very different from others. You know, as we said, it's a little bit of a challenge opening up this system as big as we are, and then we're dealing with COVID-19, and I'm going to have Dr. Monica Cortez, who is our liaison with the Southern Nevada Health District and all the health officials in the county to give you some updates there. But first of all, we've opened up 3 brand new campuses, 2 brand new campuses and 2 fully renovated schools this Monday. Today, with the commitment from the board, over $200 million in construction projects. Over $200 million that the Board of Trustees have invested in this community. We've had some handful of air conditioning challenges. It's not like opening school like we did in March, where it was a little bit cooler. This is a little bit of a challenge. Some of the same things that we experience when it gets a little bit warm. We move our children into portable or different areas to make sure that the students are safe, and we are not having to deal with many of those issues. Our police, nothing too significant to report from our police officers. I'm going to tell you, to our community and our partners, our parents, everyone, please slow down during school zone. That is the #1 priority, making sure that our children are safe as they're walking onto our campuses. Transportation, our on-time percentage this morning was 87%, a little bit lower than normal. But again, 16 months out, social distancing, mask. But you know, our staff have full confidence in our Executive Director of Transportation and our staff to make sure that we improve on that. We do have over 200 driver vacancies, so anybody that's out there and wants to drive a bus for us, we're still hiring. So really want to make sure that this community understands our challenge. One of the things that I want to make sure that we have a clear impact of understanding. We have over 1,500 bus routes throughout the community. One of the things that we are really working on is to make sure that we do stack our buses and our starting times to make sure that we expedite, because our #1 priority is to make sure that our children get to school on time where they belong. Our enrollment numbers as of today, 307,605 students today enrolled in the Clark County School District. So it's been an increase from previous. It will fluctuate up and down, but we want to make sure that this community understands we're open for business, making sure that our children are in the classrooms where they belong in front of our hardworking educators. I want to turn it over to Dr. Monica Cortez so she can give an update on where we are and the things that we've taken really seriously in this district to make sure, as our state superintendent mentioned, our #1 priority is that now we're open for business. We're going to stay open, making sure that our staff, our children are going to have a phenomenal experience to normal, close to normal as possible. Obviously, the face mask is going to be a priority and a mandate. Applaud the governor and his leadership at the state level for us to continue to make sure that our kids remain in school. We're going to play sports. We're going to do the performing arts, really. And I'd like to have Dr. Monica Cortez to give you some of the mitigation strategies that we're taking. Dr. Cortez.
Thank you, Dr. Jara. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today to share with our community some things that we have in place that are going very well for our students and staff to come into school for the 21-22 school year as safe as possible. The first one, as you are well aware of, everyone is required to wear a school mask in school unless they have an exemption. The other thing is we are implementing social distancing, as feasible as it is, between 6 feet and 3 feet. Between adults and students, it's 6 feet. In the classroom, again, it is when feasible. The biggest thing is that we look at layering strategies for our mitigation in our schools. So parents and community members, guardians, we ask that you go through the daily symptom screener that is on our website. Every school has it as well. You go through those symptoms. If your child is not feeling well, this isn't the year to push them to go to school if they have one of those symptoms. Please consult with the school nurse. They can refer them to one of our sites for testing. So we do also have testing available. We have 6 sites open right now at local high schools that are open for our students and our staff if they're symptomatic or exposed to COVID-19. Those sites are Centennial High School, Sierra Vista, Spring Valley, Del Sol, Centennial, and Mojave. It is really important that you communicate with your school nurse to let them know so that they can provide the support. We have to say that where our opening is because everyone is working together. Everyone is focusing on our students and also our staff and returning as safely as possible. And that really is happening because of the relationships that we have not only with the Nevada State Department, it is Department of Health and Human Services and our Southern Nevada Health District. They have been instrumental in doing so. The other very important thing that we do want to make sure you all are aware of is vaccinations. Anyone that is 12 years and older are eligible for a COVID-19 vaccination. We have sites throughout the district. Southern Nevada Health District has that. When it comes to quarantining, it is a case-by-case basis. It is very important that as a school representative that we have our attendance accurate and we know who is present. When we have our Google sessions is what we do. We look at each case and we collaborate with the health district and we make the best determination for who needs to be quarantined within that 6-foot, 15-minute radius. So again, please know that as a case by case, you will receive a personal phone call if your child is impacted directly by being exposed to a confirmed positive. Again, please make sure any COVID-19 vaccinations are turned into the school for your child. That expedites the quarantining process as well. We have daily cleaning that I believe you all are aware of. That happens when there is an exposure within 24 hours. We implement disinfecting strategies to ensure that that classroom is taken care of with the virus. We do have our well room, which is our health office, and then also our sick room where students are immediately referred to when they are displaying symptoms upon campus. Both of those have our ionization units in them. That's all I have at this time.
So thank you, Dr. Cortez. I want to just go back and just, parents, this is not the year. I said this this morning and last March. This is not the year for us to win our perfect attendance awards. This is the year to take care of their health. If the kids are experiencing some symptoms, please keep them home. Just let the school know so we can keep everyone safe. And you know, I want to make sure that everybody's aware that we are working very closely with the Southern Nevada Health District to make sure that we have many spaces for folks to get their vaccine. Again, want our kids to be in school where they belong with our hardworking educators. And thanks everybody. We got Trustee Williams and other trustees that have been very critical in helping us maintain our schools that we open up and that we maintain our schools open throughout this academic year. Now we can turn it over to anybody, Mauricio, I guess, for any questions that you may have of me or of Dr. Cortez or the State Superintendent.
Hi. Can you just talk a bit more about how a big question on a lot of parents' minds is lunch and how lunch has been implemented here across the district, social distancing, masks? How's that all working out?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really that's where that case-to-case basis comes in. In our elementary schools, because those students are typically next to each other in the classroom, we've made the recommendation that you also have them sit next to their same peers in the cafeteria or multi-purpose room to limit the additional exposures. Now, when it comes to secondary, we made the recommendation that students are able to go outside. We know the outside is better for the release of the virus, so to say, less contained. And then also, we look at it as exposure. And so different schools are doing different things. It's going to be coming to the honesty of when we have those one-to-one, our disease investigators inquire with the student, who were you next to, who were you with, and then we determine from there, is it within 6 feet, 15 minutes for over a 24-hour period? and then we reach out. So it is going to be a case-by-case basis. It's very different for secondary and elementary.
Were there any hiccups this morning or afternoon or no?
It has worked as we had intended. We were able to start this off in the spring, and then we had an increase with summer acceleration and then ESY. And so really our processes are working. Our parents are communicating. I cannot tell you, it is a true partnership, and I think that's why we're open so well, because it's the school, it's the health district, all of us are focused in our community on our kids. Thank you.
Yeah, just a couple of vaccine questions, if I could, related to teachers. Can you give me a percentage of teachers that are vaccinated? If they don't upload their vaccine card, talk about that mandatory testing. Is it on the teachers to pay for that testing? And the last one, if I'm a parent and I want to know, can I ask my teacher, have you been vaccinated?
Okay, great question. So the first question is, when we had a previous system, Origami, the most recent number that we had is 41% of our staff. Now that's support staff, including administrators, as well as certified professionals and our school police. So that's overall. The new system that we're utilizing is a MOCA Health, which is what our teachers, or all staff, are required to complete daily for their symptom monitoring. And that is, again, important. Just like parents monitor their child, we're having our staff monitor themselves. And a new feature that has been added as of August 2nd, last Monday, is for them to upload their vaccinations. If they elect not to upload their vaccination, then they are required to participate in required testing. It is not random, it's mandatory testing. It is provided at various sites throughout the district, and it will continue every week. So staff are notified on Thursday if they've been selected. They need to go on their own time, and the district does pay for the site test. They do need to report to one of those designated sites. And I can tell you, as of Friday afternoon, we had over 20,000 individuals upload their vaccinations, and that was just in 4 days. So that's huge.
And the question about parents.
Yep. And so at this time, parents are not permitted to ask a staff member if they're vaccinated.
Can I ask one?
That's just something that we have in place. It is their personal information.
Next question. You know, today's the first day. Can you define what a successful school year is going to look like?
What a successful school year is, that's a great question, and something that we are working, you know, when you really look at having kids every single day in front of our educators learning, and we, you know, look at the end of the day is when we stay open year round. I mean, that is our goal, for us to stay open. Successful is, you know, it's a lot of different definitions for that. For me, the number one priority is that our kids are going to learn, and we have a lot of catching up to do around academics, around social emotional, for our students and staff.
I guess, what are some of the main takeaways that you took from your discussion today with the students?
Oh, wow. Well, that was, you know, I would tell you, I had a great discussion with kids here today. It's just, obviously, well, they want more project space. They want to learn, you know, that something that is applicable to them when they leave us. That's, you know, and you hear that from kids all the time. And obviously the consistency on the grading. When you heard today from kids about how they're graded here at 80% of test and 20, it's not fair because it may not be test takers, good test takers. I think that's where I applaud the board in the decision and changing the regulation for us to have a consistent space grading across the entire district. That's going to be very helpful. So a lot of the discussion today really solidifies some of the decisions that we made this summer from learning from the adults.
Doctor, how many of the students are going to school in person this year when we compare with last year?
So the number that I have on enrollment is 307,360. We have seen an upgrade, and I think that is in totality. You know, when we have seen an increase in the Nevada Learning Academy, which is virtual, we'll have to get you the specific numbers, but the latest numbers that I had about a month ago was that about 7%, almost 8% of our kids had decided to go to distance education, which is what I'm thinking is more than Nevada Learning Academy, but we'll have to just get you the number. The exciting part is that, you know, a good 92% decided and wanted to be back in schools. I mean, you're at Shadow Ridge High School. there's 3,700 kids, and talking with the principal, it's 3,700 students here on campus today.
I was going to say, Dr. Jara, one quick question. When is the deadline for students to get their routine immunizations? Is that by the end of this week?
So immunizations are required for enrollment and attendance, and so we're following those state regulations. We do provide information as to where they can access vaccine clinics around the community, but that is a requirement to enroll in school, and so that information is communicated to our families.
Dr. I just want to ask kind of a follow-up to the vaccine thing. Just your impressions here. 41% vaccination is lower than the state average. What is your reaction to that?
Well, you know, Matt, it's something where, in having conversations with the state superintendent and the governor, you know, they prioritize our educators to be on the top of the list. Well, I really applaud the governor and the state's efforts in doing that. I think it has to do with a lot of our educators were in the summer, they were home, and I think, as you heard today, we're seeing an increase in that in the last 4 days. So for us, we should be seeing, an increase in the data as we're collecting it as we speak.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
See you at 1:15 for back, hopefully.
So you just heard from Superintendent Dr. Jara and officials with the Health District talking about all the ramifications they are implementing to make sure that students, staff, and support staff are all very safe. They talked about social distancing, they talked about vaccinations, and Dr. Jara is talking about how he believes, based off of his statistics, that about 90+% of students have decided to return back to in-person learning, while about 8 to 9% have talked about staying in their distance learning curriculum. And the overall presence, the overall tone of how school is going to be starting is making sure that kids stay safe. Superintendent Jara is saying that this year they are not focusing on attendance. They want to make sure that if you're not feeling well, that you stay home, and that everyone continues to play their part in wearing their masks so that they continue to stay open for the entire school year. That is the goal stated by Superintendent Jara. We will continue to cover everything going on for the first day of school for you all day online at lvrj.com. We'll also update you on all of today's events for you this evening at 7 p.m. And of course, you can download our free RJ mobile app to get all of those alerts sent straight to your phone. As always, you can find us on Roku, Apple TV, and all of your favorite digital platforms. I'm Renee Summerhour. Thank you for watching.
You've been watching breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.